Hello there hoppers and welcome! Now, whether it's featuring in a game, a TV ad or even a live event, the Jurassic Park vehicles have seen a fair amount of usage outside of the films. And that's not surprising, as both the tour and staff vehicles each have a unique and iconic look. However, despite their iconic appearances, when it comes to the Jurassic Jeep Wrangler, there is a common mistake that keeps cropping up. And that is, they keep using the wrong Jeep. Now, the two most embarrassing examples of this has to be both the Jurassic World Live Tour and the Telltale Jurassic Park game, as both heavily feature the vehicle, and in both cases, it is not an accurate portrayal. But Ash, how do you know they're both inaccurate? You might be asking. Well, it's simple. The headlights. Let me explain. You see, back in Jurassic Park, the staff vehicles consisted of soft, open, and even absent top 1992 Jeep Wrangler Sahara editions. And a noticeable feature on this model was the inclusion of rectangular headlights, a feature exclusive to the YJ Jeeps since their introduction in 1987. Now, although the 1992 model is the only one that is truly film accurate, being the models of the ones used on the set, this design did not really change much until 1996, with the introduction of the TJ Jeeps. Now, these Jeeps look noticeably different to their 1992 counterparts, as they reverted back to the circular headlights from the past, a design that was, and still is, synonymous with the Jeep brand. However, despite being an iconic Jeep design, these circular lights are just not an accurate representation of the iconic Jurassic Jeep design. So, with all that in mind, we now return to our Jurassic World Jeep from the live tour. And just one look at the vehicle's face, and you can see that its headlights have a circular design and not a rectangular one. Therefore, it is unquestionably the wrong Jeep. Although, that being said, in this case, it's not just the wrong Jeep, but it's the wrong vehicle altogether. As you see, in Jurassic World, other than a quick cameo for nostalgia, the Jurassic Park Jeeps were otherwise absent from the film. Instead, the staff transportation of choice was the Mercedes-Benz G-Class 4x4s. So, if anything, that is what they should be driving. And yes, before anyone brings it up, I'm fully aware that Matchbox did actually do a Jurassic World Jeep Wrangler. However, I just want to point out that A, it's just a toy, B, it has never been seen or mentioned in any of the films, and C, it's not even the same Jeep as the live tour, because it's actually got the correct lights. Yes, even Matchbox gets it right. So, Matchbox can, but Jurassic World Live Tour can't. Or they just won't. And that's the funny thing, because if they were trying to be truly film accurate, like they were claiming in their promotional video, then why didn't they use the Merc? Well, when you actually think about it, it does actually make more sense from a practical standpoint to use the Jeep in this arena performance, as the open cage frame allows the actors to be visible at all times. It also gives them a quick and easy way in and out of the vehicle, something that is crucial when you're acting in a live environment. So I get it, if they want to use the Jurassic Jeep for the Jurassic World Live Tour, then fine, but at least change the goddamn lights. I mean, it's annoying because look, they've actually done a pretty decent job with the updated paintwork, but then they've just gone and copped out by getting the wrong Jeep with the wrong lights. Accuracy matters, it really does. Especially when you're making an officially licensed Jurassic Park game set in the park at the time of the first film. And, you know, despite the many inaccuracies I'm sure this game has, the one thing I remember the most, by far, is the Jeep. I mean, look at it. Just look at it. Not only has it got the wrong lights, but it's even got the wrong grille. How did they even make these mistakes? Do they not know the difference between a rectangle and a circle? Do they not know the difference between vertical and horizontal? I mean, they would have surely had to have at least looked at the film's vehicles in order to get the paint schemes correct and the decals accurate. So how the hell did they miss this? Now, I can at least somewhat forgive the Jurassic World Live Tours Jeep just because A, it's not the actual Jurassic Park Jeep, and B, because it is at least physical. But the one thing I cannot forgive is this mistake being made in a licensed game where these vehicles would have been created from scratch and placed into a game that has been created from scratch. In other words, they can make these vehicles look however they want them to. Therefore, these vehicles have no reason to be wrong, especially when they're supposed to represent actual vehicles from the actual film. So I'm afraid there is no excuse here, and I'd be very shocked to find out this was a licensing conflict, because, as I said, if anything, the circular lights, they resemble the Jeep brand more than anything. So if anything's going to be struck with a lawsuit, it would surely be the circular design. So I'm sorry, but if they can do circles, then they can surely do rectangles. You know what it actually is? They probably already had access to a Jeep render from another game, and rather than just make a brand new one for this game, they just dressed up the old one and hoped no one would notice. Either that or it was just a massive cock-up. But either way, there is no excuse for anyone making this mistake. And I get so frustrated when I see it happen time and time again. Hell, even some fans fall into this trap. And although they might have done this as a conscious decision, I just feel if you're going to put all this time and effort in, and as John Hammond used to say, spare no expense, then surely you'd want it to look screen accurate. And sure, maybe the owners were intending it to look different. Maybe they prefer the circular lights. And if they do, that's fine. If that's your preference, then fair enough. But personally, with Jurassic Park being my favourite film, and with the park's Jeep Wrangler being my dream vehicle, it just seems tragic to me to see it portrayed, well, wrong. To have something that is so close and yet so far from the screen accurate perfection it could be. A beautiful swan instead of this ugly duckling. But again, that is just my personal opinion. Well hoppers, that just about does it for this video. If you enjoyed today's content, then please give the video a like, and if you haven't already, why not support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and of course the notification bell. That way you're keeping up to date with all of the new content. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have. Take care hoppers, and I'll hopefully see you next time.